Hi, I'm Karla Harman, and welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. Today is the 31st of May, 2025, a little bit after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we welcome you all into our live meeting today. We appreciate you taking time out wherever you are to join us live. Today, we've got a special presenter coming on that's not been on our meeting in the past. Her name's Karla Harman. She's from West Virginia. As I was telling somebody earlier, she won the CCA Merit Award up at Winters and Wood in Pennsylvania. So look forward to hearing from her shortly. Before we get started with her, though, I'll tell you a few things that's coming up and kind of a reminder of things you can participate in. I heard from Kevin Applegate this week. He asked for me to remind you all that there's still spots available for the CCA Caricature Carving Seminar in Converse, Indiana. That is on August 16th and 17th. And Rich Weatherby and Mitch Cartledge is going to be the teachers there. If you want to sign up for that, you're going to be in the Converse, Indiana area around August 16th, 17th. Reach out to Kevin Applegate and get signed up. His email address is kapplegate12@gmail.com. He said he does have a few slots available. And so he wanted me to ask if anybody was interested in that to reach out to him and go ahead and get signed up for that. They're trying to get full classes out there. As always, I'll remind you all about the CCA Carving the Rockies show that's coming up in September. That's going to be out there in Colorado Springs, Colorado, September 20th and 21st. Special category is Buccaneers and Scallywags. So if you're planning on doing something for that, don't let the time slip up on you. Go ahead and get carvings done for that. Of course, the competition, there's many categories. You can go out on the CCA website, check out the categories, and get carvings ready to take out there with you or send by someone so that they can be entered in the show. We want to make sure that we also encourage younger carvers to participate in that show as well. I think we've had a few young people come in and present items for the show in the past. We're hoping to encourage people doing that. So if you've got some young people in your club, and maybe even if they can't come out there, but you're coming, bring their pieces with you so that we can enter those into the competition. On our meetings, we're going to have Dale Kirkpatrick coming up next Saturday. I saw Dale was in the meeting. He's going to be carving spools. Greg Weimer's coming in on the 14th of June. And then Josh Arroyo's coming back on the 21st of June. Josh has been with us in the past, and he's going to do a design class or a design meeting talking about using technology to be able to design your piece and then the process it takes to create a piece. And if you all know Josh's work, he's fantastic, and look forward to hearing what he's going to be sharing with us that day. Some classes going on through the workshops, Woodcarving Academy. It looks like Dwayne Gosnell has another class coming up on June the 10th, carving Maximus. Ryan Olson has a class coming up August the 2nd on getting specific. So if you want to learn how to carve specific caricatures of people that you know or people that you've seen, movie stars, famous people, Ryan's going to have a class on doing that August the 2nd. And then Dale Green's going to have a class coming up October the 4th, sports and holiday shorties. So if you're interested in any of those classes, reach out to those instructors, get signed up for the class. It's a great way to learn, and you can learn at your own pace because you get the recordings of the videos, but you see everything that the instructor's doing during those classes. So again, it's a great way to learn. I want to say thanks again to Karla Harman, who's on with us today. She's going to be talking us through her wood carving journey and a little bit about why she started and what she got started doing. So Karla, I just want to say thanks for coming on. I'll go ahead and turn it up. Or I'm sorry, let me stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I turn it over to Karla, we want to have Dave Stetson come on and do words of wisdom. So Dave, I'll turn it over to you first, and then we'll move on to Karla.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Become aware to me this week, some moments of self-reflection while I was driving home from Utah. A lot of time in the car to think, and I want to share with you that in order to move forward in our life, career, or art, sometimes we must first take inventory of all the material and emotional things collected throughout our lives. Discard and begin again. Freeing oneself from the baggage will allow for change and advancement. Trust that renewed growth will spring from your memories of what was.
All right, Dave, thank you for that. Definitely look forward to your words of wisdom, and that's a lot to ponder. I know a lot of things have been going on lately, and yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. Before I get started, remind everybody, we talked a little bit before the meeting started about the Utah roundup that we just got back from, the Rocky Mountain Carvers Roundup. The dates have already been set for that. The dates start May the 18th, 2026. It was a great event put on by two great guys, Craig Simmons and Guy Nelson. If you get a chance, go out there and take classes, 5 days with 5 different instructors. They've got night classes. Tyler Moore was out there doing signs. If you've seen any of the pictures that's been posted on the internet, it's just a great week. So I just want to give a shout out to those guys and remind you all they'll be doing that event again next year. So if you want to do it, put it on your bucket list, try to get signed up and make it out there next May. I'll guarantee that it'll be one of the best carving experiences that you've had. So plan on doing that. Having said all that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Karla Harman. She's coming to us from West Virginia. Karla, we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. Like Blake said, I'm from West Virginia. I've been carving for about 11 years, but I did not start carving. I didn't start out with carving at all. How it all started was I have a cousin named Darlene Watering, and those of you that know me well know that she usually travels with me everywhere I go. She was making compound Christmas tree ornaments with a scroll saw, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I went over to her house one evening to try it. Didn't go well. I kept pushing the wood and breaking the blades and losing my religion, so that didn't work out real well. But while I was there, she had a magazine laying there. It was Scroll Saw Illustrated, and on the bottom corner of that was this little guy, which is a Intarsia moose. And I love moose, which you're probably figured that out by now. But I had to have it. So I went home and I ordered a book and I taught myself Intarsia. And I did that for a few years, several pieces I did. And I liked it, but just one day, I don't even know what made me think that I thought, I think I want to try carving. So I went to the shop and I found the softest piece of wood I could possibly find, because I didn't even know what carvers used as far as wood or anything like that. All I had was a penknife, and I carved this little guy, and that started the whole thing. I ordered a knife online, and I won't name names, but it was a kind of a big clunky knife. Didn't work real well for me. Practiced and worked and knocked out a few things, but I was actually getting a little frustrated with it. And then somewhere along the line, my cousin Darlene found Jim Heiser online, and he got us set up with the Conewago Carvers Club, which is a teaching club. They do a lot of seminars, and I've taken a ton of seminars with them. It's a great program. So my very first seminar was with Chris Hammock. And trust me when I say, that was like being baptized by fire. He is a fantastic carver, but I didn't even know what hit me when I left that class. All I knew was that was what I wanted to do. So I got a knife, a different knife, and I started carving, and I took as many seminars as I could possibly take with as many instructors as I could. And I've taken numerous numerous seminars, but I've taken several with the same instructor. I know some people don't do that, but for me, in my journey, it was a good thing for me to do that, because where I was in my journey the first and second year was way different from where I was in my journey the third, fourth, fifth year. So I'm paying attention to different things that the instructors are saying and doing. You know, the first year, you just want to come out of there with something that looks like something. And the next year, you're paying attention to how they're doing eyes, or, you know, different features. And it goes on and on and on, and you just build on it. And for me, some people probably pick this up way faster than I did. I am not naturally talented. I'll tell you that right now. The good Lord blessed me with a good sense of humor and an active imagination, and that is about where it ends. I have to work really, really hard to get to progress. I can tell you it took me 10 years to get from this moose to this moose. Now, a lot of people would have closed that gap probably, you know, in no time. It took me a while, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with working hard. I think it'll serve me well as an instructor, because I will remember what it was like to have to struggle. And I hope that it will help me get students over that hurdle so that they can get on to the next step, because I've been there. I can't draw, so I use clay. But I'm here to tell you that it can be done. You know, just because you don't wake up one day and you're a master carver, you can learn what you need to learn. And if you're willing to work hard, you can get there. And that's just what I've been doing. Let's see, the piece that I had, I'll show you my CCA piece. Just took the bowl off of here. I built this so that I could take it apart, because it breaks down, and you can see where I can take the pieces off, and I can break it down and fold it down, and it travels well that way. This started out, she started the whole thing. And for this piece, I thought about her for years, actually. I wanted to do a moose because they're my favorites. And I knew that my skill set wasn't where it needed to be to do this. So I shelved it. And that's probably not the best thing for me to do unless I write it down, because then I forget about it. But I was signed up to take Rich Weatherby's clay class, and it was the night before, and I was sitting there talking to Jim and Joan Heiser, and Jim asked me what I was going to do, and what I told him was not this. I can't remember what I told him, but I had forgotten about her. And in the course of the conversation, he turned around to Joan and he said, "Where's that book with those animals in it?" And as soon as he said that, it hit my brain that this was what I wanted to do. So I changed my idea. And in the clay class, we created her. Now, she did not start out having a negligee on. That came later. When you're with your friends in these classes, the creative juices get flowing, and sometimes they go south quickly. But that's how she came about. And when I was working on her, I decided she had to have, you know, a friend. So he came to life in that class as well. And during the course of our conversation about him and her, we decided that, well, you can't have a cow moose that doesn't have a nightie on. So we put a nightie on her. And then I decided I was going to put her on a bearskin rug. So we put her on a bearskin rug. And when I decided that I was going to put these two in a cabin, of course, we had to have the fireplace and the mount on the fireplace. You know, it had to be a guy with a gun, and we had to do a little nod to A Christmas Story. And so that's how it just builds. It just built on one idea, and it built quickly. So that's the story of this piece. Get this out of the way, it's big. But some of the pieces that I've done recently, I carved roughouts for a lot of years, didn't think I was where I needed to be to start into my own designs. And then I took Chris Hammock's week-long design class. And the first year that I did that, I did this piece, which is, if you see that, it's my mother, actually, which she wasn't very impressed with me using her as a model. But this is the Joycey series. That's what we call her. Her name's Joyce. We call her Joycey. And I grew up on a farm. So she has provided me with an endless list of ideas for carvings. She is one of those tough Appalachian ladies. I come from a long line of tough Appalachian ladies, and that's one of my favorite subjects, along with moose. But so she was the inspiration behind this. And then the following year, again, she was an inspiration, came up with this. And this is absolutely a true story. This is a pile of snakes. My mother hates snakes. Doesn't matter how good they are for the environment or catching mice or whatever. If it slithers, it's dead. And she's deadly with a gun. And I come home from work one day, and there she was at the bridge. We live on a farm, and the farm sits probably about 200 yards off of the road. And there's a creek there, and you got to cross a bridge to get into the house or up to the house. And so there she was at the bridge with a gun in each hand and a pile of dead rat snakes. And so she made me, and I always knew when I come home from work and there's a bucket sitting along the driveway somewhere that I had something I needed to dispose of. And so anyway, that's just one of the many things that come to mind with ideas with my mother. And by taking Chris's class, it's helped me learn how to create patterns and do my own thing. One of the other things that I've done recently was this. I like this old lady. She's dancing. I like her. I liked her face. But at the Lancaster show, Wonders in Wood, I sat across from Dennis Thornton, and I asked him to critique her. And for anybody that's new out there, I would suggest that you do that. Do yourself a favor and do that. Have people critique your work, because he saw things that I didn't see and I probably wouldn't have ever seen. And as nicely as he possibly could, he completely destroyed her. But it was the best thing that he could have done. It was the best thing for me. I learned a lot, and I've already applied the things that he told me. So I won't make those mistakes again. And I am going to redo her. I'm going to do another one like her, add some things, take away some things. So I'm looking forward to getting to that project. There's another project I did recently. I'm not crazy about the Santa, but I love the base. I think the base came out really nice. And the thing about this is it's a music box. So it will spin and play music. So I like it. I like it so well that I'm actually gonna rework this one as well. And I think that's what you do a lot when you're first starting out. You know, I know I'm not alone that I do projects, and then I look at them and I think that could be better, and then I do it again. So and I'm okay with that. At first I didn't want to do things more than once, but I've learned that makes me better to do that. You can't get anywhere without working really hard. So some of the other pieces I did this little pea pod, and I did this. This is actually for me and my late husband, because we were peas in a pod, and this is a pretty popular little piece. It's cute, and I've done some little tiny ones for refrigerator magnets, and you can do them for tree ornaments. You can even put like another little pea in there and add children or whatever you want to do. Just fun little projects like that. And not sure where else to go.
Hey, Karla, tell us more about that the music box and how you did the base on that.
Oh, okay. So I took a 4-inch hole saw, and get ready because it's going to yank your elbow out of socket. But I drew a line where the hole saw was going to drill, and then I allowed probably, a good bit around here, probably close to 1/2 inch on the outside of that. So I would have enough to carve, and it would be strong enough. So I punched that hole, and then I cut this piece of basswood and then just carved it to look like a floor and glued it on the top. And you can order these little music boxes. You can get them off of Amazon. And you have to, usually the base, this little base that sits flat, it is sold separately. So you have to get that separately. And then I just had to line it up. That took some work, lining it up to make sure that it would spin correctly, not lopsided and flop around. But yeah, then I just drew a design on it and carved it and glued it all together, and there it is.
So do you use any of the techniques that you learned through, what was it called? Intarsia? Intarsia, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you use that in your carving, daily carving activities now or not?
No, not really. What Intarsia taught me was the value of shadow. Because when you add shadows, it adds depth, and you have to sand off a lot of this to create a shadow, and that shadow adds the illusion of depth. And I've carried that over into carving, because that does, you have to do that as well with carving. But yeah, Intarsia is something completely different. It's a lot of different woods. You have to choose your wood by the type and the color, and you have to know what it's going to do that once it gets wet and all of that. So it's completely different. But I don't discount anything, because everything is going to build on something else. I do a lot of photography as well. And with photography, decades I've been doing that. You start paying attention to shadow and light. And of course, that carries over as well into the Intarsia and into carving, because those shadows are very important as far as bringing depth.
So what about, tell us more about your paint technique and your finishing technique. I've seen your pieces live, so do you have a specific process you go through in finishing your stuff, or do you just kind of do trial and error?
It depends. A lot of times I will use, I always use acrylic paints, because I don't have the space to let oil set and dry. I like oil. I love the way it looks. I love Bob Hershey's finishes on his piece. I think they're amazing, but I just don't have the space here to let things set. So I use acrylics, and I water them down, usually a good bit. Now this piece has a heavy paint job on it, and I don't usually do that. I like, now the base, you can see the base has more of a highlight back here, and then these are heavier colors here. But I don't usually do that. I like to use like a lighter wash. I don't know if you can see it on this. On camera, it looks a lot heavier than it does in person. This is one that's kind of a lighter wash. I did this in Jim Feather's class. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, I love this piece. I'm so proud of this piece because I love his work, and this came out looking so much like his work that this is one of my favorite pieces. And but I've never tried to repeat it because that's his work, and he has a very distinct style, and it should belong to him. But anyway, back to painting. I like to do a light wash on them, and then I build on that. And I use, like I said, acrylics, and I try to add shadows when I can. I don't do the antiquing after it's over with. What I do is I will take like a raw umber and water it way down and paint it into the crevices to make it look kind of antique-y that way. And then I just spray it with Deft to finish it off.
And I noticed on several of your bases, you got names or writing or something like that on them. Is that something you do more for competition, or what is that?
Well, I've only ever been in 2 competitions, so this is new to me as well. But yeah, this one, I think this one is the only one that has a plaque on it. I didn't know. I'll tell you, Josh Walters at Windy Cape, he did this base, and he also did the base for the moose, and it was huge. It's really big. It was a challenge. He did an amazing job. I did not ask him to put the plate on it because I didn't know what to name it. I didn't have a name for it, so I didn't name it. This one just says, "Thank God I'm a country girl," and of course that goes back to my farm roots. Growing up here on the farm and having 2 grandmothers that were farm ladies. So I wanted to pay homage a little bit to them with that. The other bases I have made myself. This base is another base. Now it's not a music box, but I just wanted a different base, so I made that one myself. This little guy, he's a little love otter. If you can see his little heart there. I am gonna probably have smaller version of him made, or I'm gonna make a smaller version of him and then have some rough outs made of this guy. But I'm gonna leave some wood up here to allow for some creative latitude. If people want to put like a top hat on him and make him a Uncle Sam type thing, or a bowler type hat, or an elf hat, or whatever. So I thought I'd leave a little bit of wood up there, but I think he's pretty cute. It's an otter. Some people confuse it for a bear, so I'll probably change up his face a little bit to make sure the otter comes out in him. But another technique, back to painting, I did this relief carving in Bob Statlander's class, and you can't really tell on the camera here, but I took mineral oil. Roger Stiegel told me to do that or try that sometime. He suggested, he didn't tell me. But so I tried it, and it leaves the wood feeling really oily, and it allows you to blend your colors. I mean, I could really blend the colors with that. And so Jim Heiser had said to me, or in another class, he had said that when he saw this, he would have sworn that it was oil paint, but it wasn't. It's acrylic. So I've tried different things. I usually always dip my carvings in boiled linseed oil before I paint them. And when I say dip, I mean I have I went to Lowe's and got an empty paint can, and I fill it about 2/3 of the way up with boiled linseed oil. I don't cut it with mineral oil. I just put straight boiled linseed oil in there. And then I will take my carvies and actually dip them down in the can, flip them over and dip the other, and then dry it off and let it sit for a day, at least a day, and then paint. Some people will paint right away. You can do that. But I like to let them sit, mostly because it's oily and I don't really want it on me. But I usually always dip my carvings in boiled linseed oil. I just like the way the paint goes on. I've tried it without, dipping them or treating the wood with anything. And I just feel like it's splotchy. So it just doesn't work for me. I mean, other people make it work and it's fantastic, but it just doesn't work for me. I like to do it with a boiled linseed oil.
So there's some discussion in the chat about the Intarsia. Can you talk more about that? The process, what all you go through, why you do what you do, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I haven't actually done it for years. Once I started carving, I kind of stopped with the Intarsia. But basically with Intarsia, what you need to do is you have to look at the pattern and you have to know your woods. You have to know your woods and how they're going to react with time. I just recently did this little guy, and you can see that his hat is red. That's bloodwood. I don't use any kind of stains. These are all different kind of woods. You just pick your different woods, put them together, and make it come out with the different colors. Now, this bloodwood eventually is going to turn dark, and it's going to look more brown than red. This is basswood. And it already has kind of a yellow tint to it. It'll probably get a little more yellow. I did one of these, the very first one I did, I used cherry for the body and walnut for the antlers cherry for the body and it's my favorite wood. Anyway, I forget what this is called. But when it after it's set for a couple of years, it looks very much like the same color. So it wasn't enough contrast. So you have to be cognizant of that. And which way the grain is flowing. I wasn't expecting to talk about this. If you give me 1 second, I'll grab a piece that I do have.
Okay.
No, be still. Be still. No. Okay. Now I did use stain here because I wanted his muzzle to stay white. But this piece of wood, or this piece, you can see, it's not very thick. I had to put shims behind his face to do this. But there is, this is quarter sawn sycamore. This is curly maple. This is, what is the name of that? I just did it. I just did a class with Vic Hood. Ken Kuhar, I know you know what I'm talking about. This is cherry. There is yellow heart here for his eyes. There's ebony. Yellow heart is actually yellow. Ebony is actually black. Any of you that have not used it. So you pick your different woods. And butternut, that's what it is I'm trying to think of. Butternut, this is butternut. This is butternut in his body. So you pick your different woods and being aware of what to use is very important because I saw this piece of curly maple. I had it for 3 years because I knew I wanted to use it on this piece, but I knew that my skill level wasn't where it needed to be to do this piece yet, so I shelved it and I kept it, and I'm glad that I did because it worked perfectly for this piece. So being aware of the different types of woods and how they're going to look together and react together, that's the most important thing about Intarsia. There are some Intarsia artists that don't do a lot of sanding and shaping. I do. I just like how it adds depth to your piece. It's almost like when you first cut this out, these are all the same thickness and it looks completely flat. And then you start shaping it and it comes to life. And I like that. I like that with carving. I like to see this block of wood that looks like absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden this figure starts coming out of it. And like, for me, I get a large charge out of that. I think it's pretty cool.
So what projects do you have that you're working on now? I know you talked about maybe having a rough out made of the one. Do you have other things in the works?
Yeah, I do want, I've been asked a couple of times about the moose. So I'm probably going to have some rough outs made of the moose. I have a couple more ideas for things that I want to do for rough outs, but those are different ideas for competition pieces. I'm working right now on a competition piece that I'm going to bring to Colorado. So that's taking up a big chunk of my time. And if it comes out the way I hope that it does, it'll be a pretty good piece. So yeah, I'm working on developing some different things to have some rough outs available, and I really do want to go into teaching. I think that that's something I've always wanted to do. I knew very early on that I wanted to teach, and the reason for that is because when I found the club, or when Jim introduced us to the club up there, it's like gaining a whole family, a family that's supportive and just so helpful. And I know the things that club and carvers in general, as a group of people, I know what it does, what it did for me, what it has done for other people that I know, as far as enriching their lives. And that is something that I just, because you guys do the things that you do, it makes people like me want to follow in your footsteps and bring those things to other people. And that's what I have wanted to do from the very beginning. So that's the direction I'm going right now.
You have any classes lined up that you've had scheduled to teach? Or
No, not yet. I've done several, just like the soap carving classes with the local libraries. We don't have clubs around here. Like, there are none. The closest club is Conawago to me, and that's almost 3 hours away. So I've been trying to bring awareness to this area with the hopes of getting something started. We had a lead on possibly getting a room at a community center, but that has kind of gone south. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So now I'm actually thinking about clearing out my shop and putting something together there, just to be able to have people come in, get something going in this area. I've done, like I said, some soap carving at the local libraries. I reached out to the continuing ed at the local community college. Haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm trying to get things going in that direction. But yeah, my hope is even by the end of this year to be set up to be able to do some teaching.
Well, I commend you for taking on that the challenge, I guess, to try to set up something if you don't have something already lined up there. The goal of this group also has always been to share wood carving, and if you can grow a club in the community that you live in, that's going to be something that's going to be rewarding for many years to come. But it could go on even after we go on. So definitely encourage you to do that. And Ron Rhodes wants to know where you're located. No, West Virginia specific area.
I'm in the Eastern Panhandle. I'm actually only about 25 minutes from Cumberland, Maryland. I just live right across the line in West Virginia. Not a lot around here, but Cumberland, like I said, is pretty close. And I would even be willing to go into Cumberland to get something started there, and that's probably what I'm going to have to do. But I'd be willing to go where I need to go.
And can you say a word or two about that Wonders in Wood show? How many times have you competed out there? And again, we try to encourage people to come to these shows. So maybe if they hear more about it from you, what do you think about that one?
And so my very first competition was at Conawago's show in October, which is also in Pennsylvania. It's in East Berlin. I did not have the nerve to enter into the open class. Josh Walters kept telling me I needed to do it, and I just didn't have the nerve to do it. So that was my very first show, and that was in October. Then in March, I went to the Wonders in Wood at Lancaster, and that, both shows are great shows, but Wonders in Wood is it's phenomenal. Bob Hershey just does an amazing job. That club in general does an amazing job with that show. I would highly recommend anybody to go, if you can get there, go and compete. It's a great competition. That show, I took Josh's advice and I entered into the open class, and the Moose took second place. So I was pretty happy about that. And he didn't waste any time telling me I needed to listen to him from now on. So I guess that's what I'll be doing. So, but it is a great show, and I would highly recommend it to anybody, any show. Get out there and get in those shows.
And I was wondering, I know Ken Kuhar's on. I wonder if he can unmute, tell us the dates for next year's show out there.
Yeah, I believe it's March 15th and 16th next year.
All right. Sorry to put you on the spot there, Ken, but I knew you would know. So.
It's March 14th and 15th next year.
Yeah.
14 and 15 in 2026.
Sounds good, Bob. Thank you for that. Any questions for Karla at this point? Anybody have anything that you want to know about her work? Karla, do you make any of your pieces available to sell, or if somebody wants a commission piece, can they reach out to you?
At this, I have not. Like if I make something and I want to sell it, I sell it. I don't keep a lot of stuff around here because I don't have a lot of space. But I don't do commission work yet. I'm really trying to focus on creating my own ideas, developing my own ideas, and coming up with some rough outs and some things like that so that I can teach. So I've kind of sidelined doing any kind of commission work. I've been asked a lot of times, but I haven't done it up to this point. I'm not going to say I won't in the future, but it's not something that I have done yet. I don't want to get roped into having to do something. I learned with photography when people wanted me to do weddings and that sort of thing. I did that for a while, and it kind of just sucked the life out of me. It wasn't fun anymore. So I didn't do that, and I'm not going to say that would happen with carving, but I'm a little wary of that. I don't want to burn out because I do enjoy this so much. It has actually changed my life. So, if you'd have told me 11 years ago that I was going to be a wood carver, I'd have told you were crazy, because you can't trust me with sharp objects for one thing. And, all of a sudden, your life is going this way, and then boom, you're just going that way. So it's amazing how one little thing like this can change your entire life. And it has, and it's been fantastic. And I would highly recommend carving to anybody. And for those that are like me and, you can't draw and you're not, it's not like an automatic thing for you. Keep working at it. Keep plugging away. It will pay off. You will get out of it what you put into it, like everything else. But it's worth it. It's so worth it to just keep trying.
All right. Any other comments or questions for Karla at this point? Okay. Well, Karla, I just want to say thank you for coming on and presenting today. I know sometimes it's a stretch. People, when I ask, they're like, "Oh, why are you asking me?" I'm surprised you're asking me. But I always say our job is to try to get people's work out there in front of people who maybe haven't seen it. I believe your work's fantastic. Like I said, I saw it up there in Pennsylvania, and I know we'll be seeing more of the work that you do. I'm excited to hear that you're coming out to Colorado to the CCA show out there. So look forward to having you out there. Let's see, there's one more comment. Western Washington, the Kipsap County group has their show on June 14th in Bremerton, just one ferry boat away from Seattle. So someone's promoting the show that's coming up June 14th out in Western Washington, if anybody's interested in that. I want to give a shout out. I saw Joshua and Lori Walters on here. If you all are interested in bases, reach out to them at Windy Cape Studios. I know they do fantastic work. And again, seen their work quite a few times. They also offer these fantastic tool totes. If anybody wants one, reach out to them and they'll be able to take care of it. Plus, they have a website. You can go out and check those out. So I just want to give them a pitch. Karla, I just want to say thanks again for coming on today. Thank you for sharing with us. Next Saturday, we'll have Dale Kirkpatrick coming in 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dale's going to be doing one of these little spools, and it's amazing what all he can do with a spool. I was able to see him up there in Pennsylvania. He walked up and said, "Here, take one." And so I have this in my collection. I love it, but he's going to be coming on and doing a demonstration for us on that. So look forward to that. Then Greg Weimer on the 14th and Joshua Arroyo on the 21st. So just want to say thank you all for joining us today. This has been the International Association of Woodcarvers, where woodcarvers help woodcarvers. And we'll see you all next Saturday. Karla, thank you again for coming on and presenting. It was fantastic. Thank you all.
International Association.
And note, he's already recording, so anything you say can and will be held against you at the end of this video.
Oh man.
No, I'm nice to people who are nice to me.
Yeah, right, Dave.
That's
I've
why I
known you
mean
a
to
long
Blake.
time.
No,
It's all good fun.
everything bad about me though, I edit out. If it's something that I don't like in myself,
Yeah.
it's gone. No.
You have that advantage.
Yeah, it's part of the fun of it. I'm gonna spotlight you here for everybody, and I say we'll do as many takes as you want. So, and it's whenever you want to go. The floor is all yours, and if you
Do
need
you
to
want me
practice,
to turn that lamp off? Is that distracting?
honestly, I turn it off. Let's see if it gives any difference. I didn't notice it until you said it.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, I mean, because everything else, lighting wise, looks great.
Well, there's the one behind me, but I'll be in the way of that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. Either way is fine. Yeah, it looks
I think it
good.
looks good like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go with that. So whenever you want to go, I'm going to shut up and it'll be all you.
So all right, wait a minute. Give me a second here. So this is where you want me to introduce myself, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yeah, see,
Just
that was
like
too
that.
good. Yeah,
That's
that was
good.
too easy.
what's that?
It was too easy. You got it done like one try. I mean,
Well,
it's taken me longer to find the record button stop area than it was for you to get that done perfectly. So good job.
thanks.